welcome to Tales of Honor Podcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the true stories of every recipient of the Medal of Honor. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tales of Honor Podcast, and it's our Christmas episode. There's nothing special about this episode other than it lands on Christmas, so Merry Christmas to all. Hope you are having a great day, or if you're listening to this at the end of the day, which is when it comes out, I hope you had a very Merry Christmas. Today's episode is number 266 and takes place during World War II. Please keep an eye out on Instagram for a chance to vote on what the next 2 months will be covering, which campaign will be covering. I open that up for voting in the Instagram stories is usually how I do it. Not sure which one I want to do yet, so I need your help. Please keep an eye out there. And here we go. Episode number 266. And now, a tale of honor. Leonard was born in Preston, Idaho on the 23rd of November, 1919, where he grew up in a farming community. He went to primary and secondary school at the Oneida Stake Academy, which was built by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and later renamed Preston High School. Leonard did odd jobs during the Depression years, as well as hunted, fished, and farmed for money and church service. He took up a calling to do missionary work for the church to California, which is where he was when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. Once his mission was complete, he returned home and enlisted in the U.S. Army in March of 1942. Leonard went to Fort Ord in California for basic training, and once completed, he was assigned to the 7th Motorized Division at Camp San Luis Obispo. They trained for their deployment to the African Theater in the nearby Mojave Desert until the division was renamed the 7th Infantry Division, and their training changed to amphibious assault training with the U.S. Marines for the Pacific Theater. Leonard, along with Company F, 2nd Battalion, 17th Infantry Regiment, served during the retaking of the Aleutian Islands on the 11th of May, 1943. They were not prepared for the winter warfare they would endure on Attu, but even though ill-equipped, they pushed through and received a Distinguished Unit Citation for their actions. Leonard and the 17th Infantry Regiment then trained in Hawaii for 4 months before deploying to the Marshall Islands, where there were 42 amphibious assaults, and it is said that the assaults went nearly perfect. When Leonard and the rest of the 7th Infantry Division invaded Leyte, the third largest island of the Philippines, it was the 17th Infantry Regiment's task to attack from the center of the island. It was Leonard's actions during this assault that would earn him the Medal of Honor, making him only one of 2 members of the 17th Infantry Regiment to do so during World War II. The citation reads, "He was a rifleman with an assault platoon which ran into powerful resistance near Dagami, Leyte, Philippine Islands on 28 October 1944. From pillboxes, trenches, and spider holes so well camouflaged that they could be detected at no more than 20 yards, the enemy poured machine gun and rifle fire, causing severe casualties in the platoon. Realizing that a key pillbox in the center of the strong point would have to be knocked out if the company were to advance, PFC Brostrom, without orders and completely ignoring his own safety, ran forward to attack the pillbox with grenades. He immediately became the prime target for all the riflemen in the area as he rushed to the rear of the pillbox and tossed grenades through the entrance. 6 enemy soldiers left a trench in a bayonet charge against the heroic American, but he killed one and drove the others off with rifle fire. As he threw more grenades from his completely exposed position, he was wounded several times in the abdomen and knocked to the ground. Although suffering intense pain and rapidly weakening from loss of blood, he slowly rose to his feet and once more hurled his deadly missiles at the pillbox. As he collapsed, the enemy began fleeing from the fortification and were killed by riflemen of his platoon. PFC Brostrom died while being carried from the battlefield, but his intrepidity and unhesitating willingness to sacrifice himself in a one-man attack against overwhelming odds enabled his company to reorganize against attack and annihilate the entire enemy position. Leonard posthumously received the Medal of Honor on the 15th of November, 1945, about 1 year after his death and about a week before his 26th birthday. His medal was originally donated to the Franklin County Courthouse in Preston by his family, and it stayed there on display with some photos of him and mementos until a new set of county commissioners decided to remove the display cases. The medal then went to the local American Legion post for display until the local veteran community had diminished. The post was taken over by the county, and the last commander of the post took the medal home with him for safekeeping. All of Leonard's family had died by this time, with the exception of a niece that didn't feel she could preserve it properly. The medal then sat in the office of a local lawyer, J. Mackenzie, until retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Sherman Fleek had called. He was the command historian for the U.S. Military Academy at West Point and had been doing research on Leonard's life. The discussion led to the Church History Library of the LDS Church being contacted to see if they would preserve and display Leonard's medal. They agreed, since Leonard was a lifetime member and is one of 5 members to receive the Medal of Honor during World War II. Leonard C. Brostrom is buried in the Preston Cemetery in Preston, Idaho, Block 1, Lot 18. And that was a Tale of Honor. Thank you for listening to Tales of Honor Podcast. Head on over to talesofhonorpodcast.com where you can read these stories, see other ways to support the show, and easily share a story with your friends and family. Tales of Honor Podcast is written and produced by Christoph Ambrosch, and theme song, A New Beginning, is by Ben Sound. If you have any questions or comments, you can send them to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, I'm Christoph Ambrosch. Thanks for listening.